All right, hello everybody. Welcome to This Is Not Your House, an indie horror game, or maybe it's indie, who knows? Maybe Big China made this. Before we get started, I just want to tell you something funny because in the last video I was like, and join me tomorrow when we start, like Dead Letter Society or whatever. That was one of those like PS1 horror game, demo disc type games, and I forgot how colossal those things file size. So I recorded. I played through the whole game. It was like 3 hours, maybe 4 hours. I think it was 3. I think it was like a 45-minute episode of 30 minutes, and then like an hour 15. So it was basically 45, 45, 45. It's like 2.5 hours, whatever the fuck ever. What the fuck ever. That's what I was trying to say. So I go to upload the first one to YouTube. I haven't even looked. I'm just like, I'm in the motions on my video, YouTube. And at first I think it says 15 seconds, which that's pretty normal for my internet. My internet's super fucking sexy. It's tight. It's good stuff. So I'm like, okay, 15 seconds. And then I look away and I look back and I'm like, oh, it's still at 15. That's odd. Maybe the internet went out. Then I read it's 15 minutes. I'm like, whoa now. What's happening here? I exit out. I look. The first 45-minute video is 100 gigabytes. I look at the total videos, 350 gigs of video. And I know I make a lot of jokes about how many terabytes of YouTube space I'm wasting, but it's like the start of the month, and that would have been a third of my internet usage for the month. And I was like, I'm not doing that. So, Dead Letter Department, I think I might play it again. I got to keep an eye on the subscriber thing, but I think when the subscriber number hits a certain number, you can probably figure out what that number is if you're subscribed right now. But I think when we hit 100 subscribers, I'm going to do like a big stream day, and so I might stream it. I got to figure out if streaming it will cost me the same amount of internet as recording it. But so that's why that's not happening. So this is not your house. I know nothing about it other than someone says it's not your house. I guess we'll do the tutorial. Use the skip button at the bottom of the screen while playing to skip any part of the game you played previously. Press V to activate or deactivate the screen reader.
Self-voicing enabled.
That's not what it said it would do. Okay, scroll down to see it.
Self-voicing enabled. Text speed can be controlled in the settings.
Okay. Activate auto forward progression in the settings menu if you prefer an automated experience. Okay, that's the tutorial. Let's start. From what I've been told, there's multiple endings. You can do all of them in about 30 minutes, so we're going to just do as much as we can until I get bored with it. Roger always knew if he were attacked, it would happen on the walk from his car to his home. So he readied his house key before stepping out of the vehicle. Keeping it ready, I need to turn the volume up a little bit. The game's kind of quiet. Well, right now the game's dead quiet. Where's my mouse? Oh, I got it. There we go. Crank it up just a little bit. Just a teensy tiny. So keeping it ready, he walked to the trunk of his car. He hangs his groceries from his wrists, keeping his fingers free to open the front door without fumbling. As Roger makes his way to the porch, his eyes start darting between the house's corners. He'd read about a young woman being ambushed in her driveway the week before. Do we live on a farm? He tries to put it out of his mind by counting how many steps it takes him to reach the front door. This is going to be story time. But he can't stop listening for the sound of someone rushing toward him. There's a gentle breeze and the white noise of distant traffic. Honk, honk, fuck you. Roger assures himself he is right to remain vigilant. I am right to remain vigilant. It only takes a split second for someone to get the drop on you. Steady with the key now, smooth as fast. That's the door. Roger's key slides in on the first try. It won't turn. Roger removes his keys and inspects it. It's engraved with a large H, definitely the correct key. Roger tries the key again. Locked, jammed, broken maybe? Roger takes a step away from the door and scans the area for suspicious persons. He sees no one. He releases his grasp on the key and leaves it in the lock. Why would you do that? He drops his grocery bags on the porch. He tries furiously to turn, pull, and push on the key and door handle every which way. Without success. Roger hears something inside. A shadow passes by the window. It looks like someone's silhouette through the curtain. Roger pounds on the door. Open up this instant. The police are en route. What do you say, route? The door unlocks from the inside. Some old bitch. Homeowner, can I help you? You can start by getting out of my house. This house does not belong to you. Check the deed, lady. A deed is only a piece of paper. One that proves this house is my property. Personal property is a social concept. Oh, Lord. Those who inhabit a space own it. Let her have it? No. Take my house back. I have a rotisserie chicken cooling off out here. I'll be eating it in my dining room before it's room temp. The homeowner attempts to shut the door on Roger. Roger swiftly jams his foot between the door and its frame. He presses his face into, this is the picture from the start, into the gap his foot provides. I don't think you heard me. Is she a nurse? Roger shoulders the door wide open. The homeowner is knocked back into the kitchen. You forgot your chicken, she says. Stand our ground. Did we just turn into Elon Musk? I'll get it when you're gone. Be sure not to leave too often, Roger. I have a habit of roosting in untended spaces. Roger hears a car start up right outside. They steal our car. He looks out the window to see what's going on. The homeowner waves from the driver's seat of his car and disappears down the road. It can't be. Roger whirls around. The homeowner is no longer in his kitchen. He proceeds to clear the house. Room by room, we call the police at Carson until he's sure she's gone. Roger spent the next few days gathering up every trace of the homeowner's presence and passed it on to the authorities. Doilies, table runners, oiled drape runners, candles. It seemed like she'd lived there for years, leaving things in odd places only someone familiar with the space would. It took Roger an additional half day just to rearrange the furniture. Thankfully, she hadn't moved in her own. Then there was nothing left for Roger to do, except his grocery shopping. He decided to have his groceries delivered by a boy from the neighborhood for a while. He didn't want to leave the house alone. He started to feel silly about it after a few weeks passed, so he placed a call to the station following up on his vehicle's disappearance. The police explained they were unable to locate his missing car and had no leads. Roger bought a junker to handle his errands around town. He didn't notice the walk from his car to his house anymore. The only thing that worried him is whether or not he could turn his key when he got home. He got new anxiety. You no longer fear an ambush at home, but you dread a shadow passes by the window. End credits. Okay. So, that's already an ending. So this will be quick. Soundtrack. By the way, this game was like $1.50. So if you're like, wow, that was it, just chill out. That was alright. Oh, let's just start again. Okay. So let's just let her have the house. Keep the house. I'll take my car and head down to the station. Which car is that? Is she stealing my car again? The one I pulled up in. I didn't notice. The only one sitting in the driveway. But sir, there is... Oh, that's my car. She stole my car again? What the hell? Roger turns just in time to see the car he calls his own reversing into the street. He sees the homeowner wave to him from the driver's seat and disappear down the road. Here, let me help you with that. Roger tries to run after his car. She's stealing my groceries too, but the homeowner grabs hold of his shirt. She slips it off with one deft sweep. Roger spins around, trying to grab a hold of his button down. He feels goosebumps forming on his arms as his nipples harden. Oh, this is this kind of game. Give me my shirt back. No need for these either. She's stealing my pants. Yes. Homeowner quickly slides off his pants and the remaining articles on his person. Roger lies dazed with his head pounding from the collision with the porch. He can hear the sounds of rustling fabric and crinkling plastic bags. She stole my groceries too. Wraps his arms around his head and groans. Please, not my chicken. Not the chicken. The homeowner gathers all of his things, glides in the house, and slams the door shut. Roger pulls himself to his feet. He cups his genitals in his hands and tries to keep warm. He shakes from the cold. Break down the door. Roger's a strong man, but not strong enough to break a door with his bare feet. So instead, he takes a swing at the door's window. He feels something warm and slippery pour down his arm as he fumbles with the deadbolt. He manages to get a grip on the lock and slides it open. Roger opens the door and shuffles inside. He hears heavy footsteps from the floor above. The steps indicate the homeowner is headed for the stairs. Shit. Had she found his shotgun? Roger only had a moment to act. Hide and ambush. We'll just stick with the top. Roger darts to the knife block in the kitchen, a mere 15 feet away. He yanks out the butcher's knife and wheels around, heading for the stairs. A yellow flash and flecks of cinder. Roger has been obliterated. The homeowner calls the police to report the incident. What is left of the body is labeled a John Doe. It is cremated by the town according to protocol. The local paper released a story about the incident, labeling Roger an unidentified drifter and the homeowner as a neighborhood hero. Some locals caught the story and recognized Roger from the area. A correction was printed, but it portrayed Roger as an unstable addict to account for his state of undress and violent behavior. Local officers used Roger as a cautionary tale at school assemblies to display the dangers associated with drug abuse. The homeowner was heralded throughout the state as an example of someone who defended themselves when police were nowhere in sight. She was paid handsomely. Fake news is the achievement. To act as a keynote speaker for a variety of clues and events over the next few years. End credits. Alright, so we did that. Let's go again. Start. Skip. Let's take our house back. Because I think... let's get the chicken. I think that was the only thing. Roger turns around to collect his groceries. He sees someone analogous to the homeowner devouring his rotisserie chicken. The homeowner behind Roger grabs a paring knife. The homeowner clamps a hand over Roger's mouth and shoves the blade into his back. Muffled gasp. The knife forces the air from Roger's lungs. He paws helplessly at the homeowner's arm. Roger's vision narrows and blurs. He tries to bite the homeowner and break free. Her hand remains firmly clamped over his mouth. He can taste the tang of her blood with an unexpected acidity. The homeowner gently lowers Roger to the floor. Roger tries to get up, but grows weaker as blood pumps through his heart and out his back. The homeowner keeps him pinned to the floor, pressing down on his chest to strain his breathing. Roger grows tired and slips away into a calm and reassuring dark. The homeowner's analog grabs the grocery bags and carries them inside. It sets the bags on the floor and steals a glance at Roger. We have plenty to eat tonight. There may even be enough to store in the freezer. We'll need to dress and quarter it to see how much there is. Now close the door. I won't tolerate a draft. The homeowner's analog grabs the door and throws it shut. This was last meal. The goings on of the house safeguarded from the eyes of prying neighbors by a door and some drapes. And that's that one. Okay. Keep going. All the paths shall be explored. Skip. Better have it. Skip. So last time we broke down the door. So let's hide in ambush. Roger wasn't sure he could make it to the kitchen and back before the homeowner reached him. I'm having deja vu right now. That's crazy. This is deja vu. He pressed himself against the corner wall at the bottom of the staircase, hoping to remain out of sight. I always say this when I have deja vu, but if the fire alarm goes off, it's because I'm having a future vision. The homeowner's heavy footsteps make it easy to follow her movements. Roger sees the barrel of his shotgun slide through the entryway. He grabs hold of it and rushes around the corner. The homeowner falls back on the stairs. Roger yanks the gun away from her with his good hand. The homeowner stares at Roger and tries to sit up. Roger brings the butt of the shotgun down on her brain. He presses down, grinding and twisting it into her. Her smile peeks out at him from around the gun's stock. She reaches for the trigger. Roger pulls the gun away and brings it down on her face. He does it again, and again. A lot. And again. Hey, we get to keep our car this time. No, we don't. She already stole it. Relentlessly fragmenting and distorting her features into a puddle. He was satisfied when he could no longer see her eyes. The police arrived shortly after. A neighbor called 20 minutes earlier due to the sound of breaking glass. Roger's defense team could not adequately explain the circumstances leading to him viciously beating an unarmed woman to death in his home. A woman police were never able to identify. Due to excessive facial and dental trauma, missing fingerprints, and a lack of documentation, the jury found Roger Cormack guilty of first-degree homicide. The prosecution convinced jurors that Roger had kidnapped the woman and killed her when she attempted to escape his home. Why was he naked then? This was death row. Roger now have to sell on death row awaiting lethal injection. I don't feel like you get... Maybe you do. Maybe you do get death row for murdering a person. Okay, so this time let's wait her out. Roger was not one to bully others or be bullied himself. He stood resolutely on his porch, like any respectable citizen. That's, I think, the worst thing. He spent the first few hours hollering and pounding on his own front door. As it grew late and cold, Roger began to lose feeling in his extremities. His pounding became limp and inconsistent, and his hollers turned to hoarse whispers. He became warm and a bit drowsy, the type of hypothermia. Roger reasoned it was best to get some rest and resume his valiant opposition in the morning. Morning did not come for Roger. He died naked on the silence porch, curled up and nestled his head against the front door. It was the comfiest and the sleepiest Roger had ever been. The homeowner discovered Roger at dawn and called the police. Cause of death was determined to be hypothermia. He was tagged as a John Doe and placed in the morgue to await cremation. This one was just hypothermia. Roger's final moments were warm and he was not afraid. That's a very quick one. Okay, this will be at least 20 minutes. Skip. Let her have it. Skip. Seek shelter. With no immediate means of retaking his house, Roger thinks it best to find somewhere to rest. He takes off into the woods in search of shelter from the elements. Why would you go to the woods? Why would you go to a neighbor's house? He finds a grove just before dark. At its center stands an immense hollow tree. Roger crawls inside and huddles against its bark for warmth, and then raccoons ate him. He protects him from the biting wind outside. As he settles into a comfortable position, his breathing slows and he drifts off to sleep. He wakes the next morning to terrible hunger pangs. He crawls out of the tree and onto the dewy forest floor. He scrounges around looking for food. Is that Smurfs? He happens to fall on a large growth of mushrooms. Eat the mushrooms. Roger consumes the mushrooms with a desperate ferocity. Oh yeah, we got... Crank it up. David... Oh man. Gotta jam out for a second. They have a bitter taste, but Roger's hunger allows him to chew through it. As his belly fills with the mushrooms, he starts to feel ill. His head begins to spin. His manner of thought shifts and becomes fluid. Roger sees the world around him as a part of him, or he is a part of it. A very small part. A moat. The homeowner was right, in part. Personal property is a construct, but habitation is not means of ownership. He did not own the immense tree anymore after sleeping in it than he did before knowing of it. The moat merely landed on the tree. In the morning it came upon some mushrooms and something happened. Began thinking of the world before itself. It surrendered itself to the soil, so he died, to the cool damp, to the network. Forsaking hunger, forsaking words. Words like Roger and returning home. Okay, so we died and became mushroom food. This song's a bop. Does it say what the song is? Okay, Jameson Miles Jackson. And this is a... A pseudonym, contributing composer. Art by Junie Chaves. Okay, so nothing new there. Okay, that was an absolute humdinger of a bop. I doubt we're gonna get it again. Okay, I gotta turn my volume down now because now the beats are too loud. Alright, skip. Have the house. Skip. Seek shelter. Skip. I really gotta turn it down. I cranked it. Let's not eat the mushrooms. Roger wasn't sure if the mushrooms were poisonous or not. He didn't want to risk dying for a single breakfast. He let them be. But the fact remained. He was hungry. He set out for the edge of the forest at a brisk pace, skulking through the tree line parallel to the roadway. To hide his nakedness. As the forest thins, he ducks into alleys and hides behind garbage cans. He smells something on the breeze, a hot dog. It makes him salivate and clench his fists with an aggravated longing. Bright red. Something catches Roger's eye. A fire station. They might be able to help. Okay, to the fire station. Reason compels Roger to stop at the fire station and seek assistance. He knocks on the front door. The man who answers seems unfazed by Roger's lack of dress. Sir, is it possible the station has some clothing it could lend me? Or some food to spare? Fireman, got plenty of both. Come on in. Roger is given a baggy t-shirt with the monogram of a defunct company on it, accompanied by some ill-fitting pants. He relaxes knowing he will not be charged with indecent exposure. Terry is in charge of lunch for the station today. He's got a pot of chili going. Might not be appetizing first thing in the morning, but it's what we got. I would appreciate some, thank you, says Roger. The fireman nods and hurries back with a bowl of chili and a cold beer. They have beer at the fire station? Roger isn't normally one for beer, but it is dark and filling. So if you don't mind my asking, what's got you out on the street with your pecker hanging out? Is this me? I went out for groceries yesterday. While I was out, a witch stole my house and changed the locks. I couldn't get back in and had to spend the night in the woods. But why was your pecker out? You like shopping naked? No, she stole my clothes too. Yeah, okay, all the stuff that happened. I tried to stop her from taking the car, but the woman in the house jumped me. I took a bad blow to the head. She stripped me on the porch, and her pal took off with my car. The fireman scratches his beard. Why didn't you go to the police? It was freezing out and getting dark fast. I didn't know how to find the station, and she took my phone, so I just holed up for the night. Glad you made it. Awfully cold last night. Kinda makes it our slow season. I'm just glad I stumbled onto this place. The facade really stands out. You got any kind of documentation to prove you own that house? Of course, I have the deed in a safety deposit box, but I need my ID to get to it. And that bitch took my pants with my wallet still in them. You think she's still in the house or took off in the car with her pal? She had no intention of leaving, I can tell you that. And she stole my chicken. That settles it then. I'll get the blues on the horn and get this sorted for you. Dude, firemen rule. Fireman lumbers over to the phone of the firewall. A wave of relief washes over Roger, knowing a civil servant is assisting him. Still, the fireman's reaction to Roger's story troubles him. He doesn't want the fireman thinking of him as a crazy old man. Worse still, Roger worries he's a crazy old man and just doesn't know it yet. A part of him hopes the woman is still in his house to prove to himself that what he remembers happened. Or to prove to himself that what he remembers happening really happened. There's not a period there. Oh, damn. When police arrive at Roger's residence, they find the homeowner barricaded inside the upstairs bedroom, raving that the house is hers. She's been there all her life. It's her childhood home. She demands the police get a warrant to search the premise, but she is unable to provide personal ID or proof of residence. Bearing no legal claim to the property, she cannot refuse them entry. They are unable to locate Roger's wallet, believing the homeowner has destroyed it. Roger's social security card and birth certificate are recovered from the premises, which he uses to acquire the deed from his safety deposit box. With the proper paperwork secured and presented to the authorities, Roger is permitted entry to his home, and the woman is hanged. The homeowner is taken into police custody. Roger spent the next several years checking in on the homeowner as she was transferred between a variety of state mental institutions. He eventually lost track of her in the system. He nearly forgot about her altogether until his car was recovered. It was unearthed at a site in Nevada where BlackRock was breaking ground under the construction of a new housing complex. Roger put the car out of his mind. He didn't allow himself to worry about the homeowner. This one was civil service. He kept his shotgun at his bedside and he slept easy. End credits. Okay. Next. Skipping. Let her have it. Seek shelter. Don't eat the mushrooms. Follow the food. Roger's hunger takes hold of him. It demands satisfaction, so he follows the scent in the air. He finds his way to the nearby Ultra store. The welcomer at the door barely notices him, distracted by a handheld gaming device. Oh, this must be the 90s. He wanders the vacant halls of the store until he finds men's clothing. He grabs a simple outfit, a pair of socks, and some sneakers. Then he heads straight for the ready-made meals by the self-checkout, piping hot pizzas for breakfast. Roger grabs one of the boxes and takes a seat on the floor in front of the display. He uses the box as a plate and he chows down. Is that me, I guess? On the warm treat. A bit sleepy but satisfied, he takes a moment to think. With some warm clothes and a full stomach, the answer strikes him almost immediately. Roger shuffles out of the store, leaving discarded pizza boxes and tags in his wake. Insert arm into automaton orifice. Makes his way to the ATM outside the store's entrance. He reads the display and looks down. He sees the ATM's orifice. He slides his arm inside. It is cold, pulsating. Roger looks up at the display. His fingers grope around inside the orifice for the keypad. He feels the raised shape of the numbers on the keys. He pokes his pen into the pad. The ATM produces his funds. Roger pays for the clothes and pizza while checking out some additional supplies. Roger had never committed a criminal act. He was distressed to discover how easy it was. At his own house in broad daylight, no one paid any attention as he hooked a hose up to the gas tank outside of the house. No one batted an eye when he broke the kitchen window or ran the gas tank's hose through it. Not even when he threw the lit Zippo inside. The neighborhood only took notice when they heard kaboom. The result. The fire department was first to arrive. At least we gave them work to do. Roger was impressed by their response time. Thankfully, their investigative abilities left much to be desired. They declared the fire a natural accident caused by a gas leak. I got arsonist. I used insurance fraud to buy a new home closer to my family. Roger was able to claim the full amount of his insurance policy and use the money to buy a home closer to his grandchildren. I guess we're an old man. Okay, so there's... Yeah, this was pretty much 30 minutes. Okay, let her have the house. So this time, find help. Driven by the belief he cannot resolve the house theft on his own, Roger runs off to find help. Running down the road, he spots a police cruiser. Roger begins wildly flailing his arms and calling out for the vehicle to stop. The cruiser comes to a halt, and an officer steps out from the passenger side. Roger sprints towards him, shouting, attempting to explain his situation. The cop shoots him. The officer enters a defensive stance and draws his weapon. Yep, firemen will help you, cops will kill you. This game proves it. Roger freezes in place, thrusting his hands into the air. Don't move! Hands! Let me see those hands! They're up. I'm cooperating. Suspect is uncooperative. Yep. I'm cooperating. What am I a suspect of? Turn around. I said turn around right now. Roger complies. Walk backward towards me. Roger walks backwards towards the officer and is shot in the back. Not so fast. Roger stops in a lethal game of red light, green light. Did I say stop? Roger does not speak and he does not move. He does not want to alarm the officer. Come on, hurry up. Roger very slowly walks backwards towards the officer. I said slowly, not slow motion. Pick up the pace. Roger does not hasten his pace. He is terrified of doing something that could be seen as threatening. That's it. The sound of the officer's thudding footsteps draws near to Roger. Well, he can't shoot you while he's running. Roger has cuffs being readied behind him. He feels the cold metal press against his wrists. The officer thrusts Roger against the hood of his car. Roger can feel the cuffs tightening further, cutting off circulation. Please, officer, I'm cooperating. The officer yanks Roger off the hood and steers him with the chains of his cuffs. The metal digs into Roger's wrists as he fails to anticipate the officer's movements. The officer pushes Roger into the back seat and slams the door. The officer quickly climbs into the front seat and jumps onto the radio with dispatch. I'm saying all these sentences in the same way. It's kind of bugging me. Roger's naked body wriggles against the leather on the back seat as he attempts to sit up. The officer brings his fist down on the car's dash. Keep it down back there. A few tears stream down Roger's face in the dark. The tears make him feel ashamed, but he cannot suppress how angry and helpless he feels. Please, someone has broken into my house. Look, we're passing by it right now. Just pull over. The old someone stole my house routine. Save it for the judge, junkie. I'm not a junkie. I'm a senior citizen, and I need help. You don't see many elderly junkies, huh? What are you talking about? The officers sit in total silence as they cruise towards the station. Roger sits back and tries not to exacerbate the situation further. So you're telling us that you went out shopping and returned home to find your locks were changed? That's right. Then I started pounding on the door and some strange woman answered. Strange? How? What do you mean? She stole my house. Right, but what is it that made her strange to you? How calm she was about all of it, acting like I was a perfect stranger and she belonged there. The officers glance at one another. So you found your locks changed and a strangely calm and comfortable woman at the door. Yes, but she was in my car as well. So she left your house? No, she was in the house and I turned around and saw her driving away in my car at the same time. A pair of twins, maybe. They were her. In the car and the house, all at once. So what happened to your clothes? She took them right there on the porch when I turned to see the car taking off. She slipped my shirt off without you even asking. The officers snicker as they share a look. It's not funny. I was assaulted. Sir, if a woman came up to me with a smile and asked for my clothes, I wouldn't report her. She knocked me down and ripped off my pants. All right, sir, how much have you had to drink this evening? Not a drop. So you're telling me you tried to get into someone else's house in a confused state? Thought you saw two of the same person and wandered the streets naked, but you haven't had anything to drink. That's not what I said. This isn't how it happened. You've already given your statement. All I need to know is how much you were drinking. I am sober. I was not drinking. It's true what I said, every word of it. Put a note that the subject is not cooperating and we haven't been able to positively identify him. My name is Roger Cormack. That name's from something, Roger Cormack. I've already told you that. Sir, you'll be transferred to a new facility in the morning. You can explain the situation there. What kind of facility? The kind that has the resources necessary to help someone like you. Oh dear God. And so we spend the remainder of our life being shuttled between state mental institutes. None were able to properly identify what ailed him. Without a diagnosis and treatment plan in place, they were unable to release him. He raved about the woman who stole his house and his car. The staff learned to tune out his ravings as they did with all the other patients. Content to consider his ramblings those of a madman. His ending was forced wellness. Alright. So then, real quick, we got one left, right? We have the house. Help. Roger hangs his head in his hands. You're right, officer. I've had a few too many tonight. I don't know what I'm saying. It's all right, old timer. Just be glad it's not dementia. I'm very grateful. Well, you can spend the night in the drunk tank and we'll release you in the morning. Thank you, officers. Roger spent the last few hours of the evening resting on his cell bench. It was rigid and uncomfortable, but Roger had learned to deal with discomfort in the service. True to his word, the officer released him in the morning. Roger received a pair of sweatpants from the Lost and Found to replace his jumpsuit. He had no phone or wallet and no idea what direction his house was in. He'd never been downtown and didn't know how to find his way out. He focused on finding shelter and food. He spent each day meeting his fundamental needs. Most passerbys refused to look at him, so he became homeless. The rest were too frightened by his appearance to speak with him. Everyone kept a safe distance from him. He faded into the crowds entirely out of memory. A vagrant. Alright, and so that's all the endings. That's the whole game. One second, I'll just get to the... Alright, yeah, let's get the music going. Crank it up. So all in all, this game was like $1.50. It's a cool idea. It's fun. It makes me think the game Don't Shit Your Pants, if you've ever played that. For $1.50, I don't know. 30 minutes of fun for $1.50. That's a decent rate. Will I ever play this again? No. But I will add this song to my music playlist. Because it's a bop. Alright, there's, I got, I think, one more horror game. I'm not going to tell you what it is in case the recording's botched. But, there'll be one more, and then Pikmin, probably. I think. If not, you'll know by the end of the next thing I record. I don't know how long the next thing is either. The thing I read said it takes an hour, and then I read another thing that says it takes like 6. So I don't actually know. Sorry, I'm just... Alright. So that's going to do it for this. I hope you've enjoyed This Is Not Your House, where an evil witch stole my home. I'm Vocab Hawk, and I hope you have a great weekend, everybody. Bye-bye.